we welcome you here today and thank you for all the assistance for this day. We have decided to make the Stallions part of this day by having them in the tent. And I must say it was with a whole amount of trepidation that we took that decision. But I think you can see it makes an enormous difference to have these boys looking out of their doors, watching all the goings on and being part of us. Because after all, it is because of these fellas, these horses, that we are all here together. And I know this tent is going to be an amazing place for the next hour. Ladies and gentlemen, without Bernard's influence, we would never have had the opportunity to have a United Kingdom and European champion in South Africa. Sir Henry Cecil, one of racing's greatest ever trainers and racing sons, fell from the position of champion trainer all the way down to 97th on the British log. A fighter by nature, he started the hard slog of getting back to where he rightly belonged. And he knew in 2007 he had a few young hopefuls to carry the flag on his quest. One of those young hopefuls was called Twice Over. He did not run until October of his 2-year-old career, but then he won his 2 races so easily that champion jockey Richard Hughes stated, "He's as good a 2-year-old as I've ridden in a while." By the end of 2012, Twice Over had become the highest winning horse Henry had ever trained in his career. Ladies and gentlemen, Twice Over.
DuPont is the only dual European Classic winner at stud in South Africa. He won over 1,200 and 1,400 metres at 2 years, and then won both the Italian and the German Guineas the following year. He's a son of the phenomenally successful champion racehorse and sire Zaphonic, who was European champion at 2 and 3 years with a time form rating of 130. His first Cape crop included the Group 1 performer and high-class sprinter Magico, who was second in the Group 1 computer form sprint in 2012, chasing Shay Shay to the line. His second crop included one of the most superb-looking horses I've ever bought in a sale, Depardieu. Last season, DuPont's progeny earned over 1.5 million rand in stakes. In the sales ring, DuPont has achieved some decent prices relative to his service fee. Jeanne d'Arc was sold for 470,000. Depardieu got 250,000. Forest Fox achieved 210,000 this year, and Turning Tide sold for 180,000. A sire of stakes horses in each of his first crops of racing age, he represents very good value at just 5,000 rand service fee.
Dan DeLago is probably one of the most underrated and unluckiest horses to have raced in Marcus and Ingrid's colours. I attended racing at Turffontein in April 2009, and Charles had Dan in a 2,000-metre event against the hot favourite of Jeff Woodruff's called Sunny Jim. And I said this to Charles: if he wins today, we have a really smart horse on our hands. Well, he did win, and we knew we had more than a smart horse on our hands. He was entered in the Daily News 2000, where he came with a late rattle to 1 second to Big City Life. They were of the opinion that the 3-year-old crop were not that strong and would not be a major factor in the July, so they decided to go for the Derby instead. Well, he beat Lizard's Desire, who later went on to lose by a whisker in the Dubai World Cup, and Aslan, who went on to Summer Club and Gold Club Glory. And of course, Big City Life went on to win the July, from the other 3-year-olds, Zirconium and Forest Path filling in the places. Charles tells me that he and Anton still today rue that judgment of error, as they feel he would have been a massive runner in the July. It was a huge shame we never got to see the best of him. And believe me, we tried everything except gelding him to get him to jump. Thank goodness we never considered gelding and sent him to stud at the Alchemy, where he has had some good support. And we know that these fellows breed top-class horses. And Costa de Lago, as we speak, has produced the champion first-season sire in Australia, Northern Meteor. He ended his first year at stud with 3 graded winners, including a Group 1 winner, and the winners of 19 2-year-old races in all. Being out of a Daniel mare, we have the best blood to match his beautiful looks.
They called him the Giant Killer after he defeated 7 international Group 1 winners in the Group 1 Dubai Duty Free. His impressive career included 4 Group 1 victories on 3 continents, and he's the only horse ever to win the Cape Classic Quartet. He also won the Grade 1 Singapore Airlines International Cup in scintillating style. His career earnings of over 40 million and his time form rating of 126 make him the best bred horse ever in South Africa and earned him the Equus Award as the International Horse of the Year. The JPEG is a semi-finalist for Freshman Sire of the Year by virtue of being one of only 3 freshman sires that produced 2 or more graded stakes winners in their freshman crop this year. His progeny have been well received by the market, selling for up to 1.2 million rand on sale. Despite all this wonderful success on the tracks and support that he's had in the sales ring, JPEG's fee remains the same as it's been since he retired to stud and represents excellent value at 30,000 rand.
JPEG, the supreme athlete, not a robust horse, but absolute the way he moves and everything.
Horace's career started with a bang. He won 5 from 5, which included the Dingans and the Gauteng Kennies, both Group 1 events in earlier days. Horace being by the mighty Sabile, the sire of 43 individual Group 1 winners to date, was presumed to be a stayer by his connections. Not so. Absolutely not so. His mother, by speed sire De Heer, won 4 races from 800 to 1200 meters and was regarded as the flying filly. She showed so much speed. The most pleasing aspect of Horace's yearlings that were on sale this year is how well they were received by the racing public. They are well grown, very well balanced horses, and all of them show wonderful athletic ability in their walk. One of our most respected judges of yearlings, Linton Ryan, had an Horace colt from the Alchemy in his top 3 at Nationals this year. The colt was bought by Gavin van Zyl for an international client at a grand prize of 400,000 rand. We believe he is the lurker of the pack, so much so that we sent him 25 of our own mares last year and would do the same this year.
I was a big supporter last year of Horace, and he still does catch my eye. And obviously twice over, I think he's going to look like a really nice horse in a year or so. A very similar sort of shape to JPEG a bit.
Well, you've already heard that he was one of Britain's leading sprinters of his generation. All I should say to you is that he's tough, genuine, and is the fastest son of his champion sire, King's Best. He was a progressive racehorse, precocious as a 2-year-old, won 5 as a 3-year-old, and took on a high-class field, as you heard, in the Diadem Stakes at Ascot at 4, showing his trademark acceleration. King's Apostle put up another top-class performance in the first big sprint of the 2009 season, the Group 2 Duke of York Stakes at the prestigious Ebor meeting. At the prestigious August Deauville meeting, he won France's foremost sprint, the Prix Maurice de Guise Group 1, beating another classy field of sprinters, and time form gave him that impressive 124 rating, and he made the front pages of the Racing Post that weekend. King's Apostle is bred on one of the strongest crosses in current times, the King Mambo Sadler's Wells cross. Not only is King's Apostle by 2,000 guineas winning son of King Mambo, but he's also out of a daughter of Group 1 Breeders' Mile Cup winner, Barathea. Talk about a classic sire with speed potential. He will inject speed and toughness into his progeny, I've no doubt, and we've every confidence that he's going to do the job. I rate this horse. He's the first crop sold for up to 400,000 rand, and where else can you get a Group 1 winning European sprinter for just 15,000 rand service fee?
Warm white night. We'd heard reports of a flying machine from Charlie Laird's yard. His connections entered him into a Grade 3 event first time out. Warm white night burst onto the racing scene in no uncertain terms by trouncing the field by 4 3/4 lengths. Next up was the Group 2 nursery, where he again overpowered the field, beating the same rival who went on to achieve international success in graded company in Hong Kong. His strength was the brilliant speed that he possessed, and so the next start mapped out for him to ensure that he had stallion status was the Grade 1 gold medallion at Scottsville. The now very familiar and increasingly popular broad white face and long white socks flew home at Scottsville that day, and we knew then he would have a stable available for this handsome horse at the barn here at Klawervlei. The arrival of his first foals last year has brought much admiration from breeders who supported him in his first season. Fortune favors the brave in the third season of a stallion. Good looks and precocious early speed is a certainty for sales ring success in this game, so set on quick returns. This multiple Group 1 winning stallion has all these ingredients. Be brave, go big, reward will follow.
Counterboy has to be the comeback kid. His Equus Award is Outstanding Sire of the Year with his just his second crop to race, and his 8 Group 1 horses, 15 stakes horses, and 2 champions from his first 2 crops really aren't just a flash in the pan. Let's remember that he got 58 winners from just 63 runners. That's a heck of a statistic in those 2 crops. After that initial impressive success, one of his yearlings sold for a whopping 2 million rand, and it was boom time. It was really regrettable, because then the expectations are through the roof. But more recently, the beautiful filly Counter 10 made 1 million rand at Cape Book 1, and others have been sold for 650,000 and 525,000, so there has to be some form of market respect for the horse. There's plenty more to come from this chap, but he's also been represented by no fewer than 5 black type winners in 2013 alone. Talented juvenile Counts Rocket has now won his last 2 starts, including the listed juvenile stakes at Kenilworth, and on that particular day, Counterboy had 2 stakes winners. He had a solid year in 2013 and has another fantastic crop of 2-year-olds for the 2014 season. We know that he's going to climb the log again, so we keep buying them in the safe knowledge that they're a good investment. Take my word for it, he is going to explode again. Now is the time to invest in his services, so we've reduced his service fee to make it very attractive. Don't miss the boat. 20,000 rand, good deal.
The amazing thing about stallions is that we are never sure how they will perform in the different countries. The one certainty we have here in South Africa is that Rock of Gibraltar has been a huge success. They do perform in this country. This lightning fast son of Rock of Gibraltar is unique in that incredibly 5 of the first 6 names in his pedigree are all Group 1 winners. Tom Thornbury, internationally acclaimed judge and inspector of Keeneland and CTS sales, had this to say about the 7th Rock yearlings he inspected. 7th Rock is the runaway leader in the clubhouse of all the new young guns in South Africa. What an impressive lot. There are 12 with my very highest grade. They are consistently impressive. If they run like they look, he will be your next supersonic sire. With prices of 1.2 million, 700,000, 625,000, 600,000, 600,000, the racing elite in this country agreed wholeheartedly with Tom. Full books of well over 100 mares in each of his years to date show what you, our esteemed breeders in the Cape, think of this magnificent horse.
Three of the top freshman sires this year, Judpot, Sail from Seattle, and Rebel King, all have one thing in common. They each produced the winners of 9 races from their first crop to race. And Rebel King has shown right from his first winner that he's going to follow in the footsteps of other great locally bred sires and give them a good trot for their money. We always marketed Rebel King as a speed sire, and we're really happy with what they've shown us as 2-year-olds this last season. But we're even happier to hear from the trainers that have them that they look more like milers than pure sprinters. So I reckon we keep an eye out for them. Well, Rebel King was undefeated in 3 starts at 2 years, and he broke the race record in the SA Nursery, beat many champions home in his time: Beggar, Warm White Knight, Consensual, Lady Windermere, Blue Tiger, Earl of Surrey. He won or placed in 17 graded races, 8 of them great Group 1 races. Ladies and gents, Rebel King has it all. He is a proven sire. He represents, in my opinion, the best value for money amongst all of the proven sires you can still get to this year. Back the judgment of the Captain L team at just 10,000 Rand. He represents very good value.
Rebel King, I think he always looks magnificent. And it was lovely to see him again. He's a great character, and I think he'll only get going now. You know, no one should think for one moment that they should be precocious 2-year-olds, because he was awesome, ran all the way through to 5, was it 5 or 6? And he was just as good at 5 or 6, if not better, than he was at 2. So I think he's very special and he looks magnificent.
When people in the racing game discuss stallions, it is abundantly clear that one stallion stands head and shoulders above the others when it comes to financial return and racing success at all levels. Whether you are a breeder, a trainer, or an owner, Captain L is the horse that is most revered in this department. And the reasons are very obvious. His colts and his fillies contest and win at the highest grade. His averages in the sales ring versus service fee has been phenomenal. He has, at the last count, 9 South African records. He has a world record shared with the immortal Sadler's Wells of having the first 4 home in a graded race. He got a trifecta in the Group 2 Odessa Championship, and in short, he is Mr. Reliability and Mr. Consistent. He has a special place here at Klawervlei. He was born here, he grew up here, he spent his apprentice at Charlie Costa's Klawervlei in Beaufort West, and he came back to his farm of birth to become our outstanding flagship sire. He has done so much for so many, and in no uncertain terms for us as a family too. We thank our blessings every day that Captain L has crossed our paths. He has enriched our lives and, more importantly, our souls.